Well, hello and welcome to day 3 of the training. So, when starting your own business, one of the most important decisions you'll make is deciding on which product to start with. With the right product, everything you do is easier. It's easier to get sales, it's easier to get reviews, and most importantly, it's easier to start making a profit as soon as possible. In this training, we're going to look at the important criteria that we look at to make sure you find a product that is the perfect one to start with. And you will then use that information to hunt through Amazon and identify likely products that you can copy, private label, and then sell on your own Amazon brand. So, the first thing we look for the first product is the combination of good demand plus low competition. And notice we don't say high demand, because products that are extremely high demand typically have a lot of competition, which we don't want. We want low competition so that a new seller, like yourself, can easily come into the market and start competing with everyone else selling that product. Now, while this may sound very basic, we also want to make sure that whatever product we sell has good profit potential, because if we can't make a profit off the first product, then this can become very difficult to grow and scale your brand without having to put a lot more money into it. Now, speaking of money, we want to make sure that the inventory investment in your first product is affordable. Now, of course, if you have a large amount of money available to you, you may have a few more options because you won't have to be limited by the price of the product or a minimum order quantity. But the goal is to help you to find a product where your inventory investment in your first product is kept to a minimum. And then you can keep in mind that as you grow your business and as you can order more products, well, your costs come down as well. When you're able to order a higher quantity from your supplier, the cost per unit goes down and so does your shipping per unit as well. So whatever your profit margin is for your first order, it should only get better as you grow your business. Then the last thing we look at is the ability to private label your product, because it's absolutely critical that you can private label it. Otherwise, you won't be able to create your own brand of physical products which you sell on Amazon. So, how do we determine these different factors that we just went through? Well, the first thing we look for is BSR, Best Sellers Rank, as we talked about earlier. And this is an indicator of demand and competition. If the BSR is too low, that product can be too competitive. Too high, and there can be not enough demand for the product. The next thing to look at is reviews. That's also an indicator of competition. Too many means that product could be too competitive. We also look at the price. Too low of a price is going to make it hard for you to make a profit, and too high makes it hard to afford the inventory. Then the price plus BSR, that's an indicator of revenue, and the revenue an indicator of the profit potential. So let's have a run through of a good set of criteria for a first product. We want a product that's priced between $17 to $100, that has no competitors with a BSR or bestseller rank less than 100. We want to make sure that the average reviews of the top 10 competitors is less than 2,000. We also want to make sure that there are 3 or more competitors that are selling at least $5,000 worth a month, that have less than 500 reviews, and that have been selling for longer than 60 days. Plus, we want to have 1 or more competitor that are selling at least $10,000 worth a month, have less than 900 reviews, and have also been selling for longer than 60 days. Now, if you're worried at all about how you're going to figure all this out when looking at products on Amazon, don't be. Remember, I told you I would be making an amazing offer at the end of this training. Well, that offer fully automates the whole process. You just set the search criteria based on what you are learning and learning now, and let the system find dozens of perfect products for you to choose from. Now, in addition to that criteria, we've also got to make sure that the products we sell meet our minimum profit and return on investment. And our minimum profit margin that we look for is 25%. And the minimum ROI, or return on investment, is between 50 and 75%. We never want to go below 50, but we really would like to get to 75% or higher when it comes to ROI, because the higher your ROI, the quicker you can actually start growing your business. So here now is an example of how we calculate these figures. The profit margin is shown as a percentage, and it's simply the profit in dollars you make off every sale divided by the sale price in dollars. So, for example, if the price of a product you'll be selling on Amazon is $40 and the profit you make off every sale is $10, then your profit margin is 25%, simply taking 10 and dividing it by 40. Now, the ROI calculation that Amazon sellers use is to take your profit and divide it by landed cost. And landed cost is the same thing as cost of goods sold, which is simply whatever you have to pay to have your product manufactured, shipped and delivered all the way to Amazon so that you can finally sell it to a customer. And that typically means it's the cost you pay to your supplier, any shipping to get the product imported or sent to Amazon, plus any duties or taxes you may have to pay. And it potentially could include something such as any inspection service if you choose to have that as well. So here's an example calculation. Using the same profit from before, if we make £10 off of every sale and the landed cost, what it costs us to have that product made and get all the way to Amazon, is $12.50, then the ROI is 80%, or $10 divided by £12.50. The next thing that you have to decide is whether or not a product is able to be private labelled. And as we talked about earlier, being able to private label a product is critical to this business in order to create your own brand. So, what is private labelling? Well, let's have a look at a few examples because that usually makes it simpler to understand. Take a look at these 3 different car phone holders. I think these go into air vents of cars. They look pretty much exactly the same. They might have a little bit of difference on design, a little bit of difference in colour, but pretty much these are car phone holders and they're all the same product. The only thing different on them really is the logo. That's been put right in the middle. Now these sellers have most likely gone to Alibaba, which is a massive website where Chinese manufacturers advertise all the products that they make, and then found a manufacturer to make these products, and then simply have the manufacturer put their logo on the product. This is an example of private labelling. So here now we've got 3 different but almost identical shower heads. Again, these products are pretty much the same type of product that can be found in Alibaba, but the sellers of them have been able to put their own logo on each one of them to create their own private label brand. Private labeling is actually very simple, and remember, you must private label your product in order to be able to create a life-changing brand. Now, just going back over what we've covered. So, we know that the importance of a product that's in high demand but still has room for competition, a product that has good profit potential, how the amount you can invest in inventory will affect the product that you choose, and why a product must have private label potential. Now, when you're doing your product research, there's one important thing that you'll need to understand yourself, because software tools and even Amazon sometimes have a difficult time understanding it. This concept's called like-for-like products, and I'm going to show you why it's important. Now, the main reason why understanding a like-for-like product is so vital is because our product selection process involves comparing multiple like-for-like products in order to determine whether or not a product is viable and meets the criteria that we've got. Also, we need to understand this concept for like-for-like products when doing supplier research as well. Now, at a very high level, like-for-like products are simply products that the same customer would buy for the same purpose. But if you dig a little deeper into exactly what that means, like-for-like products should serve the same purpose and deliver the same or similar benefits. They should have comparable features and functionality. They should be similar in size and material. They should also come in similar quantities. They should serve the same customer demographic, and they should have the same perceived value. And then one thing that's really important to understand is that all the criteria must be met, not just a few of them. So in a moment, we'll go through each of these in detail and also check out a few examples, because I don't know about you, but seeing some examples always helps me more than anything else. So first of all, a like-for-like product should serve the same purpose and deliver the same or similar benefits. Here are 4 different brands of batteries. They're all D-size alkaline, and these would all meet the same criteria. They could all be used in the same flashlight or torch or any other product that uses alkaline D batteries. So these meet the first criteria. But what if we replace one of them with this battery charger? It also has the battery in the name, so who's to know? Maybe when doing our product research, this product might pop up when doing a search for batteries because it has a battery in the title. Well, it definitely doesn't serve the same purpose. It's not a battery, so this product would not be considered a like-for-like product, but the other 3 would. Now, the next criteria is that like-for-like products must have comparable features and functionality. And let's go look again at these different brands of D-alkaline batteries that all meet the first criteria, but let's replace one of them with a different type of D battery. Now, these are still D batteries, but you'll notice they're rechargeable. The other ones are alkaline batteries. They have it in their title. These are rechargeable. Therefore, if we were looking to source alkaline batteries and see if they meet our criteria, we would exclude these rechargeables because they don't have the same type of functionality. Next, like-for-like products should be similar in size and material. Let's go back to the same example again. These 3 different brands of D-size alkaline batteries that all meet the criteria. However, we've gone ahead and replaced one of these with these AAA batteries that are a different size. Because these batteries aren't D-size like the other 3, they are completely different size and would go in different products altogether. These products would be excluded and not considered like-for-like. Next, like-for-like products must also come in similar quantities. Keep in mind we're saying similar. They don't have to be exact. Let me show you why. I'm switching it over a little bit. We're going to AA size batteries. And if you notice here, the first 2 come in packs of 28 and 24, which are pretty close. There's a lot of batteries in those packs. But the third one only comes in 8, which is a lot less than 28 or 24. And the fourth one comes in a pack of 100. So if we're looking to source AA batteries that we wanted to private label, make that our product, we could try to find batteries that come in exactly the same quantity of 28 or 24. But the point is, as long as they're similar and close, if a customer looking to buy a lot of batteries would consider buying, say, 24 or 28, those would match. But a customer is looking to buy 28 batteries, probably wouldn't want to buy just 8, and certainly wouldn't want to buy 100. Next, like-for-like products should serve the same customer demographic. And here we're changing things around a little bit to look at some body wash. If you notice the first 2, they're men's body wash. Old Spice Hydro Wash and Old Spice Fiji. So if we're looking to source body wash for men, then those 2 would be considered like for like. However, the third one is for kids and the fourth one is for women. So those wouldn't pass for like if we're looking for men's body wash. And on to the final criteria. Like-for-like products should have the same perceived value. And to demonstrate that, let's look at these Casio watches. They may be pretty inexpensive, but they're actually kind of back in style. If you notice, all these are very similar products, similar price range as well. So if I were looking for an inexpensive Casio watch, all of these could be considered to have the same perceived value. But what if we were to replace two of those Casio watches? Well, here the diesel watch costs almost $220, and that's definitely a lot more than any Casio watch. It's about 15 times more. And the Rolex costs almost $140,000. So neither of those two would be considered like-for-like products if I were looking for some type of inexpensive Casio watch. Okay, so near the beginning of today's training, I mentioned that understanding like-for-like products is important when searching for potential products on Amazon and to make sure they fit our criteria. However, I also mentioned that it comes into play when you're looking for suppliers to make those products. And to demonstrate, let's look at these pop-up safety nets that you can put onto kids' cribs. Now, the first three are very similar. They are simply pop-up nets that you attach to a crib. But the fourth one is a completely different kind. It's an entire little self-contained bed with a pillow and a net around it. So it's definitely not like those other products. So I would exclude that fourth one, and then I would consider the first three to be like for like. So after we've looked for the products on Amazon, we're going to have to then look for suppliers to make those different types of product. So if I were to go to Alibaba and do a search for crib netting, you'll notice that the first one I see there looks very similar to the products we're looking at. However, we need to look for like products when looking for suppliers as well as when looking for products. So this second product, that's not really anything similar. It's not pop-up type netting. It's more like a canopy, like a girl's bed might have. So that would not be a product I'd want to look for on Alibaba. And the third one as well, that's not a pop-up type netting. That's sort of netting that simply wraps around a bed to keep mosquitoes out. So just keep in mind that like for like and understanding what it means is important when looking for products, and it's also going to be important when we're looking for suppliers to make sure that we find the right products, the right suppliers, and compare pricing. And that's it. That's the end of training day number 3. Well done to everybody who's kept up. Well done to everybody who's listened, understood. And for those who are still struggling, don't worry. As I said to you before, we have a fantastic offer for you, which will make an awful lot of this a lot simpler. So, what did we cover today? We covered what makes a good first product, criteria for researching those products, understanding private labeling, and understanding like-for-like products, both for when you're researching for a product on Amazon and also for when you're looking for a supplier, manufacturer, to make that product. So, tomorrow we're going to be looking at launching your first product. So, did you enjoy today's training? Have you got questions, or do you have some comments to share? Maybe you've even got some ideas already for a first product. As always, I'll answer your questions and comments. So let's keep the juice flowing. Everybody keep commenting and talking. And I'll see you all tomorrow.